In the last video, we built this massive 5 million block city, but what you didn't notice all this time is that beneath our city there's a huge amount of nothing. But we're gonna change that now. A gigantic sewer system is going to be built beneath the city, with hundreds of winding passages that will eventually form a single labyrinth. One so big, you'll probably get lost down here. Aside from that, we'll also be building some really cool secrets and hidden rooms, like a massive underground black market, prison cells for naughty players, a McDonald's, and much more. I've assembled a team of 20 players to tackle the biggest projects in all of Minecraft in this world. And today, we're building a 3 million block sewer system. To keep track, we're going to divide the construction of the sewer system into 3 phases. Phase 1, just like with our city, we'll first build a large basic structure for the sewer system, which will precisely determine where paths, walls, or water will be later. Phase 2, using lots of markers, we can now repeatedly build sections of the sewer system, and of course, we'll need to farm some blocks for this too. And Phase 3, where we'll add some secrets, hidden rooms, and other special features to the sewers to breathe a little bit more life into this massive structure. The basic structure of the sewers should of course fit the city, so that later on you can actually get down through some manhole covers in the paths. And since it might be a bit difficult to freestyle build a huge, circular, symmetrical structure made up of hundreds of perfectly parallel paths down here, I first went to a separate world where I can do it using World Edit. Once I'm done, we can scan it with the Lightmatica mod, and then we'll have a cool overlay that we can use to recreate it in Survival 1-to-1. On the SMP, all the other players are simultaneously working on transforming the still empty Blackstone area around the building into a large lake, which will be later connected to the sewers. Alright, it's done. A gigantic schematic where all of the markings we're gonna need for our soon-to-be gigantic sewer system have been placed. In the meantime, the others have already started working on the lake here. It's not quite finished yet, but as you can see, they already filled up a part of it with water. And they're also currently mining this area. So this lake here is basically where the water flows out of the sewer system. That means our building is actually standing in a huge lake of... So for now, this here is just a layout for our sewers, so to speak. Where the stone is, we're gonna put up some real walls everywhere. And where the dirt is, there's actually gonna be some paths you can walk on. And in the middle, there'll simply be a stream of water everywhere. So this entire basic structure is 117,000 blocks by itself. And that's just a single layer, just the markers. That'll definitely make up a few million blocks, so it's gonna be awesome, for sure. And for now, we're gonna have to worry about farming all those blocks. We're gonna need a lot of stone. For all the clean stone, we won't have to farm that manually. We still have a cobblestone generator, actually, and we're going there right now. Alright, we're here. It's actually funny because this cobblestone generator isn't even working anymore. Yeah, it's completely broken, but we still have a lot of cobble in here. We used to have a lot. Yeah, we definitely still have some cobble left. We've legit been using cobblestone from here for a year or so, or half a year, and we've only turned it on once, and we're still pretty stacked. To smelt the whole thing, we of course have a beautiful, large super smelter, which will make the process go a bit faster. Put in the cobblestone, press the button, and now wait until it turns into clean stone. Apart from that, we'll also need 60,000 dirt for the markings, but we can look in our big block storage where we still have a few blocks left over from when we built the city. Dirt should be somewhere here, yeah. I don't know if it's enough, but it's definitely a start. If we need more, we'll just have to get more. And it's extremely annoying that there's no floor here. 20 shulkers of dirt. And now, we're gonna place the entire basic structure here. Let's go. We did it! We're finished. The basic structure of our enormous sewer system is in place. 120,000 blocks just for the bottom layer here. And now we can move on and start with the actual sewers. We'll start with the places where the water will be, so always between the two dirt lines, and there we're going to place a whole lot of packed mud, which will then later give the water its dirty color. Left and right of the water will always be slightly raised paths, and where the stone is, we'll have walls all the way up to the ceiling. We also had all the packed mud left over from the city. I mean, that's probably what you get when you farm half of all Minecraft items for a single project. But trust me, we'll have plenty of new blocks to farm later. So right now, I'd say we've done about a quarter with mud. That's pretty decent. We barely have any packed mud left. Up ahead, we have our clay farm, and there should still be plenty of mud there. Let's take a look. 2.5 double chests full. Let's take some of this with us, and now we need some wheat. And for all the wheat, we actually built this little wheat farm here. Yeah, now it works. Alright, perfect. It quickly places the wheat. The wheat is immediately broken down again by these pistons here, and here it comes out. Yeah, and the first wheat shulkers are already in. The thing just needs to run a bit now. What is the crafting recipe for that even? 1 wheat is actually 1 packed mud even. So these are 3 shulkers packed mud. We could actually craft them right away and take them with us. Yo, and right away we got 2 more. Then we can actually craft them right here. Bro, the machine is just as fast at crafting as I am. Okay, then I'd say let's go back with the shulkers. This thing is on. That means we're getting wheat in all the time, and we still have an extreme amount of mud up front. And in the meantime, we can go ahead and place all the shulkers here. Aha! I found one more spot. I think these are the last. I told you something was missing. So, all the mud is placed completely all the way around. I don't even know how many blocks there are now, but we can at least take a quick look at my stats, because I haven't really placed that much mud before. 37,000 I placed on my own. So yeah, you can say there are definitely several 100,000 mud, maybe 200,000 or so. And before we start pouring water all over, I'd say we'll just texture it right away. And I think we'll use spruce planks, right? What does that look like? But you can see it a little too much, huh? No, I don't think so either. Let's try these out here, the brown mushroom blocks. Oh, okay, these fit really well. Okay, about how many blocks of those are we gonna need? I'd say we need like around 100,000 or so. And last time I think I farmed 30,000 and it took me 7 hours by myself. But it does look pretty good. I especially like that it really looks like a muddy ground. And I think the earth and spruce planks and stuff, it looks so hard and somewhat, it doesn't really fit in. But the mushroom blocks make it look so smooth and muddy. It does fit really good. What the heck, let's just do it. Let's go farm 100,000 brown mushroom blocks. Dude, I'm so gonna regret this. We then flew to our farming district, and my plan was to start another large mushroom plantation. So first we cleaned up a bit, got some bone meal, and built a roof so the mushrooms could be planted on the soil. Bro. Yeah, okay, I guess you can do it that way too. Dude, that actually works pretty fast. Bro! Okay, so that's the magic mushroom that keeps growing. Can't believe we're doing it like this now. We actually plan to create a crazy plantation right here. But I guess we'll just cultivate the one mushroom over and over again. Here, we're gonna make a ring around the mushroom. And up here, we're gonna stand and repeatedly break that thing down. Alchemy will break down the trunk. Not Real Crafter makes a bone meal. And it's dark, that means the mushroom can also be placed on the dirt. Everything's silk touch. And harvest the mushrooms right away. Bro, this is 0% automatic shroom farming. Yeah, but this way we'll really have it in half an hour. POV our server if we didn't have Mr. Tivo. We have Mr. Tivo at home. Mr. Tivo, bro, who even built shit like this? What? Dude, no way that just happened. Bro, I'm dying of fungus. Oh, but I was using hand restock. That's why I had an auto totem. Usually I don't have one. Imagine I would have just died. But the farm is actually sick. Bro. Well, I gotta say, it is pretty awesome, but I'm also kind of mad, because I spent so many hours farming mushrooms back then. Dude, we really could have it done in like an hour or something. So 1, 2, 3. So right now we're at 28,000, almost 29,000 mushroom blocks. That's crazy. Now I gotta watch out not to die here. Yep, this is the last shulker. 50,000 mushroom blocks. in, yeah, just about like 2 hours on that thing. Bro, I don't even want to know how long it would have taken us if we'd actually done it the way we wanted to in the beginning. But it's done. Let's grab the shulkers and let's go back. Every single packed mud block here on all these surfaces all need to be textured. Well, I hope we have enough now. If not, we'll just have to go farm some more mushroom. At least we got the best method for that now. I'm gonna be honest, texturing all these little individual paths here is definitely gonna be pretty tough, but I do love how it looks. So, all the brown mushroom blocks are placed and we textured everything, but it actually almost took us like 2 days just to add a little texturing to the floor, but I hope it was worth it. I hope it will look good later with the water on top, and I hope it will even be seen, because that's what we're gonna do next. We will be pouring down the water, which will then be flowing throughout our sewer system. In case you can't really picture it, here is the wall, and here on the dirt, it's also relatively high up. Boom. Get it? And down here we'll have all the water flowing. We could also create like a brownish gradient down here on the wall, which will slowly like blend into the deep slate. Then we can make the lower blocks, which we'll just place now to add the water, out of a brown block. In that case, we'll just use dirt because we still got lots of it left. And then we can start right away. This means we'll simply draw all these dirt markers higher so we can place all the water on the mud later. And then we'll create a really nice color gradient, which will then later slowly transition into the deep slate. Somehow, it's kind of frustrating to now place the dirt we previously placed all over the bottom again, 1 block higher. Guess we could have placed it 1 block higher in the first place. Well, whatever. Now that the ground was higher everywhere, we could flood everything with water, which is pretty easy because water spreads a bit on its own. Still, it was starting to get a bit annoying because with such a large area, no matter how big the step, it always takes ages to get around, usually a few hours, and that's how it was with the water. So now we can go ahead and actually continue with all of our paths now. And those, as you can see here, we'll probably actually make from deep slate tiles. And we don't have that much deep slate left. We only need it for 1 single layer, because we've only built the dirt higher here, as we know. And just to build up the dirt 1 block higher is going to take us 60,000 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means just to raise the wall everywhere, this deep slate wall, to this height as it is here, which is minus 52, we're gonna need 300,000 deep slate blocks. And then we also need to make the floor like this everywhere. So we could say roughly we got around maybe 500,000 deep slate we need to farm. And then I'll probably add a bit of texture to the wall at the end as well to add like a little deep slate gradient. We can go check our storage again real quick to see how much deep slate we actually have left. Okay, we still have a few deep slate tiles, but not 500,000. Yeah, I guess we don't really have that much deep slate. We're also planning on using more than just deep slate tiles on the ground. We'll probably be using a lot of deep slate now, about 500,000 maybe. And then we'll also use different types of deep slate. So not only deep slate tiles, because we also want to add a proper texture to it later. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even more shulkers of deep slate tiles. So 8,500 deep slate is what we have, but that's only a fraction of what we need. We can also farm some deep slate here. So here's some shulker boxes, we can take some, set them up, and off to work. So this might take quite a while. We're gonna try out this method first though. There is another way we could do it. We could also use TNT drills, but I think if we really get together with a few people here, I mean, that's how we farmed all the deep slate blocks for our city. Well, we didn't farm 500,000 deep slate blocks, but I'm definitely up for farming 1 block for a really long time again. Everything in this area is going to be mined all the way down to the bedrock now. Let's see how long it takes, and let's see how many deep slate blocks is going to be. there's some here too. Hey, yo, where'd this double chest come from? Alright, damn. It's day 2 of our deep slate farm. So yesterday we dug out this huge fat hole, and I'm surprised because suddenly we have an entire double chest full of deep slate. I guess in the time I wasn't there, the others were grinding pretty hard apparently. So with all these shulkers, which are all filled with deep slate, with cobble deep slate, we now have 219,000 deep slate. Alright guys, it goes on, and I'd say we'll just continue with this tunnel here. It's gonna take quite a while, but I'd say it's not too strenuous. We've definitely already done more taxing things. Oh my god! Dude, this is where all the deep slate's coming from. I get it. So the motivation is definitely kicking in. Man, the tunnel really is huge. Just look at it. Crazy. This is what the tunnel looks like. I was already wondering where did the 100,000 deep slate come from, but yeah. But of course, the plan remains. We're gonna continue to dig in that direction. We still need 300,000 deep slate. And, wait a minute, just for the record. The tunnel doesn't continue here, does it? They didn't just... Nah, I don't think there's anything else coming. That would have been crazy. Alright, the last blocks. Yeah, we got it. Took a look at how clean this looks. 511,000 cobble deep slate. We did it. Now it's time to craft lots of deep slate sub-blocks, and we can start placing them all over the dirt lines. Wow. Gotta say, now that the blocks are being raised, it's pretty awesome. You can really get a sense of what this will look like later, cause look at this. These are just the paths right now, but when we start building the walls, this is really what it's gonna be like. Then it's all just gonna be a maze and you won't be able to see anything anymore. It's getting pretty cool. It's definitely way more fun to place these blocks here now than to just be mining deep slate the whole time. We are finished with our deep slate elevations. Everything's been raised up, and as you can see, we've also already built some stone markers. These are the first blocks, the bottom layer of the walls, which will then be raised up to the ceilings later. They're the same markers we used below, just built a little higher, and they'll also help us with our next step. Cause now, right here, we're gonna start on placing all these ground blocks around everywhere, and then we're gonna have all these raised paths where we can walk everywhere. So I think by now at the latest, you should definitely start to see how we envision the whole thing. Now we're just gonna have to start placing out loads of deep slate, and it could possibly be that the whole thing won't be enough, because we're now at under 2 double chests of shulker boxes full of cobble deep slate. It is crazy. We had more than 5, and, well, it might be that we really have to do some more deep slate again. I hope not. The deep slate was luckily enough to place all the floor blocks everywhere, and now we can finally build the walls, which will thankfully be mostly of stone, which makes things much easier for us because thanks to the cobble gen and super smelter, we basically have infinite stone. There will be a few other blocks in the walls and more texture in general, including in the deep slate sections, but those are problems for later. Now all the stone markers need to be raised up to a height of -45, and after this step, things will get considerably more confusing. Alright, I think we're actually done now. All the stone walls have been raised. Now we've got everything at a height of -45 so that you can just about walk underneath. And we did this intentionally so that it'll be easier later to build the ceiling. Because if we had, for example, raised everything to this height, it would have been a bit difficult. And I think it should be enough like this. That is kind of cool. So up here, it's just for walking. In the middle, oh, there's a glow squid. Hello. But I think if you walk around here and don't cheat at all and fly above everything, you really could get lost. What's helpful for not getting lost in here are all these symmetrical corridors. So I know if I walk in this direction, I'll get to the large main corridor here, and I guess that could save you a bit. To some, this might look like a complete sewer system already, but believe me, we've only just begun. Now comes the part where we start adding a bit of texture to our yet pretty monotonous hallways with paths made of deep slate tiles and walls made of stone. So brown gradients throughout the deep slate and darker gradients on the walls. And I can already tell you, this is not gonna be easy. And to create all this texturing, it might actually be a bit difficult to see where all these textures need to be added, because there's just no way. I mean, if I leave out a spot like this, I'll never be able to find it again. I think the most sensible thing we can do to ensure that we don't miss a single spot here is to create a template. We'll make a schematic, just like we did with the basic structure, and then we can see exactly where something is missing, because the Latmatica mod shows us the exact coordinates of which blocks are wrong. So, once I've scanned everything, I'm gonna go into a separate world, and then I'll be able to show you how we're gonna make the gradients. And as you can see, our sewer system is already pasted in, and maybe some of y'all are thinking, well, it's great that we have this on a separate world now, but how am I actually gonna make it so that the entirety of these walls, all of the deep slate and all of the stone get a nice, consistent color gradient and texture throughout? Well, for that, I'm gonna use World Edit, and I'd say I'm not even gonna explain too much. Just sit back, watch, and let me cook. We're gonna start with the deep slate gradients. We've also already placed dirt everywhere for the bottom blocks, and now we just need a gradient into the deep slate tiles. Drip stone blocks. It's already too bright though, doesn't make much sense. Basalt? But for me, it's a little bit too much of a leap between these two blocks here. Deep slate iron ore. Huh, now that's pretty nice, isn't it? With iron ore. Wait, but what if we do like this? This would work out too, right? I actually think it's pretty tight. Alright, well, it's not exactly accurate, but it is pretty nice, isn't it? And here is how I'm planning to do this. So we're gonna take this World Edit axe, and I'm gonna select the bottom block. Now I'm gonna go ahead and select every block that is at this height right here. Okay, replace the deep slate tiles with dirt, and then we'll add some drip stone blocks as well, and of course some more deep slate tiles. And now we determine what percentage each block is gonna have. Let's make it 70% drip stone and 20% dirt. Oh, yeah, okay. That is pretty sick, isn't it? Be honest. But I think we need one more layer. But I think it has a really cool effect, as if the wall is like crumbling and like really dirty. It's crazy how the whole effect can change just by using a few gradients. And with that, we've now textured out all the base surfaces. Okay, I have to say I'm a bit bothered by the cobbled deep slate. It's kind of like, I think it's a bit too high contrast. Wait, is there another deep slate block we could potentially use? Not really, it's already the lightest deep slate block. We could also try stone bricks. Oh yeah. We could also use cracked stone bricks. I mean, cracked stone bricks are a bit darker. Nah, I think stone bricks are better than the cobbled deep slate. So then we have tough, and then andesite. Although I don't know, cobblestone is supposed to go here, right? Take a little out. Then we also have a 4-block gradient here. I think maybe even a couple of stone bricks. Yeah, perfect. Then we got it. Then this here is gonna be our texture, which we can now implement into our real sewer system everywhere. Yeah, it definitely looks pretty clean, I gotta say, when you take a look at all the walls and everything. So now we're gonna go ahead and scan everything, so we'll know exactly how many blocks we're gonna have to farm, which is also quite practical. Oh my god. So there it is. We truly got some massive dimensions going on here. Now we just need to line it up with our base. Perfect. So we've lined it up, and now you can see a whole lot of wrong blocks and a whole lot of work waiting for us. Because all of these red markings here are blocks we have to mine now. And then, as you can already see, the schematic shows us tough, stone bricks, we got all that down here too. Dripstone blocks, iron ores, smooth basalt. And here's the cool thing, we can exactly see where we need to place which blocks, which makes the whole thing a lot easier, but most importantly, I can press this button and I can see through the walls to see where blocks are still missing. And should there be just a single block on the wall somewhere way in the back that's still wrong, I can just press this button and I'll see all the blocks through the walls. And that's why we're using a schematic. And now we get to the interesting part, because now we'll find out, thanks to the schematic, we can see the whole thing, how many blocks we still have to farm. Let's take a look. Now I'm really curious, bro. Material list. 58,000 cracked stone bricks. 51,000 dripstone blocks. 47,000 dirt, but we already placed those. 46,000 smooth basalt. 44,000 tough. 34,000 deep slate iron ore. That's just about 20 shulker boxes full of deep slate iron ore. Y'all getting this? So yeah, the other blocks like 50,000 tough. Sure, okay, we farmed 500,000 deep slate. But bro, 20 shulker boxes full of iron ores, which we really can't get with an iron farm. We actually have to find them underground. And the thing is, those are just the blocks we have to farm. After that, we also gotta place them. And then mine all these blocks, and then place them everywhere. So this is a really huge step, bro. It's gonna take quite a while. Since we still have a lot of dirt and stone, there are now a total of 6 blocks we need to take care of. We're gonna start with the 59,000 dripstone blocks. That much dripstone without a farm is quite a grind, and I actually wanted to build one myself, but then we remembered that our clay farm, where several farms were combined to produce dirt, clay, and mud fully automatically, actually had a dripstone farm integrated, and I wanted to take a look at that. Back there it is. In this big box, you can already see it, there's lots of dripstones. Now, I'm just wondering if there are actually so many dripstones here, because this really is a dripstone farm. Surely you can craft the blocks, so there should be dripstone blocks here. So I think the reason the dripstones are here right now and why dripstone farm is integrated here is because the farm uses the water bottles to turn dirt into mud. Then the mud is pushed over to a larger area, and then with dripstones turned into clay. And these dripstones are also farmed here. Surely we have a chest with some dripstones. Never really seen it before, but yeah, here, see? Oh my god, there really is. Dude, there's so much in here. Now I thought there were maybe like 3 double chests of dripstone in here. But bro, just look at this. That means we won't have to farm any dripstone anymore. Yes, bro, that's so good. Okay. Guess we still have almost 3 double chests full of shulkers, full of dripstones. So I think we can craft it. It's 2x2, yeah. Wait a second. That's almost that's over 200,000 dripstones, and we need 50,000. So we pretty much have all the dripstone we need right here, and we don't have to do anything for it. So I guess we can recraft it right away. Dripstones finished. Now let's move on to block number 2, probably the most challenging block, and that is definitely iron. We need 39,708 deep slate iron ore. And now we're just gonna go in some caves and farm iron. We can also take a quick look in here, where we also farm the deep slate. Bro. Yo, bro, what? Bro, come on. Thank God, that was clean. Iron actually generates more towards the top, right? Because I spotted something right here. So this is what we need. And of these blocks, we need no less than 39,000. But there's also those massive veins, like those big veins where you can get way much ore out of. Maybe we'll find one of those. I think they got the raw iron blocks. Oh wait, there's something like that here, right? Isn't there always tough there? No, it's just regular tough, okay. Oh, wait a minute, that's a vein right there, isn't it? That isn't, I mean, it doesn't look like a regular iron ore spot. I think this is one of those, see? There's a whole lot of tough here, and iron. Oh, looky here, yep, okay. We can definitely tell by that if we get one of these raw iron blocks. Yo, dude, look how much we got here, bro. Man, I already got over 3 stacks of iron ore just out of this one so far. There's so much. Bro, and it keeps on going, yo, this is crazy. And I was slowly starting to realize how big some of these veins can be, because I spent almost an entire hour on this single one. In the meantime, all the other players were also farming iron, and it wasn't long before every player was only looking for these iron veins, because compared to normal ores, it's just not worth it. But you can take a look for yourself. Okay, I think that's it for now. I have to let go. Bro, I've been chilling here in this one spot for almost an hour, actually pretty much exactly an hour, just mining iron ore. Bro, imagine you're brand new to the Minecraft world, you just do a little cave in, have your little iron pick, and you just find this vein here, and get this out. But as we all know, you can't always be lucky, and it turned out that these iron veins are much harder to find than I initially thought they would be. Of course, I wasn't alone, and the others somewhat compensated the bad luck I had after finding my first vein, but it still took a few days to gather all the iron. 39,708 iron is stacked into our beautiful storage, and now we can go ahead and move on to the next block, which will be smooth basalt. Little bit's already been farmed. We need 52,985 smooth basalt. We're now going to build something we've never built before on this server, I think, which would be a basalt generator. Some people might not know this, but you can actually not only make a cobblestone generator, but also a basalt gen. So you can make it just like the cobblestone with lava and blue ice, and we're gonna build a device just like that. And done. This is our basalt generator. It's, well, not the biggest farm, but this machine actually produces 72,000 basalt per hour. What we need now to make it work are 2 lava buckets that go into the dispensers. Now I just have to press this lever and it works. And then we can mine the basalt here. Super simple. And because it seems a bit ridiculous right now that we want to get 50,000 basalt like this, we're now also going to set up a haste beacon with haste 2. And now, the whole thing goes a little bit faster, as you can see. So if you just stand here a bit, AFK for a while, you will get 72,000 basalt per hour. I think there's another trick too, that's why it's done with the leverage. You can turn the lava off, on again, and then mine it. Yeah, now it's even faster. So that's when you start before the lava has started flowing. I'm just not sure about the pickaxe. It is running out pretty quickly. That could potentially be a problem. How much are 50,000 anyway? We can't even fit that into our chests here. Wait, so that was a complete stupid move, huh? Because I can't build any chests underneath it, because I already have it onto the bedrock. We can also just not stand here AFK, I guess, or like half AFK. Hey, yo, wait a minute. Yo, fast mover. I got a job for you. Hear me out, bro. So listen, I know it sounds crazy, but unfortunately I've made it very inconvenient that you can't stand here AFK. You just have to fill those chests here 3 times, and fill the shulkers, like switching with the pickaxe and stuff. Then I wouldn't have to build anything with XP dispensers and stuff like that. How about you just do it now, not AFK? That would be something, wouldn't it? You agree? I think so. And while fast movers at the basalt generator will take care of the last block we need, all the cracked stone bricks. To do that, I first converted all of our remaining stone into bricks, and then we flew to the furnace to smelt them into cracked stone bricks. The basalt also had to be smelted into smooth basalt, but after that we were finally finished with all the blocks and we could now start texturing. I'm gonna take a few shulkers of each material. So for now, we're just gonna go over the deep slate. With the lap meta come out, it's gonna work a bit faster because the easy place function allows you to automatically select the right block, as you can see, but I think it's gonna get quite time consuming. So I'd say we're just gonna move around here on the deep slate for now and do everything there. And to start just the main path here, and then we'll do all these side pathways here. And once we finish all the deep slate parts, we'll go to the walls. And here in the floor, you can already see that a bit of texture work has already been done with the chiseled deep slate pieces. That's why they're also red now. Well, I don't think that's gonna be too complicated just to do the main path here. Oof, it's starting to look pretty sick. Works pretty well, also with the water and stuff. But what's gonna be challenging are all these other pathways everywhere. Well, I guess we can now finally start and don't have to farm anymore. Creating all the textures took a few more days, and in total we've actually been working on the sewer system down here for over 2 weeks now. It's kinda hard to imagine, but with something this huge, everything really takes a long time. But you know what doesn't take long? Giving this video a thumbs up. Not only does it show that you enjoy these videos, but you'll also be able to give the YouTube algorithm a little boost. We have finally done it. Everywhere, in every single side alley, you can see it here, there's just a few singular blocks left. They're simply dripstone blocks, but whether they're dripstone or dirt, you can't tell if the schematic is off. And now we can move on. Now it's time to tackle the upper sections. And now that's gonna be really fun, because now we can use haste 2 and speed to move around everywhere. The deep slate was really painful, because you had to crawl around the whole time in the water down there in those little paths. And you can't insta-mine deep slate, but stone you can just boom, 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 everything's gone, and then place it back in. So this will probably go significantly faster now. The textures on the deep slate and also on the walls everywhere are finished. Only these single blocks here at the water level are still glowing, and also here as well. But that's just the outer wall where it faces the water. We're not working on that yet. But other than that, everything has been completely textured, and the texturing really took a couple of days. I'm glad we're finally finished, and we could actually pretty much move on. At the moment, it's still a bit empty down here. We do have our beautiful gradients on the walls and at the deep slate, but it somehow still doesn't feel quite finished yet, so one thing it's definitely missing is the ceiling. What we'll also be working on is these special rooms, for which we've also included these placeholders here. So there's gonna be a big secret room here later, and we actually have a couple of these down here as well. But I think before we go to the ceiling or the other rooms, I'd say we should first take care of some of the smaller things. And I've thought of a couple of cool things that will make stuff down here look a lot better. But the function is even more important than decoration, and currently you can't even get into the sewer system. Well, except through the hole we made at the beginning. But that's over now, because now we're going to take care of all the sewer entrances in form of lots of manhole covers. So I think the most realistic thing you could do with the manhole covers, especially in size, would actually be iron trapdoors, right? So trapdoors, then you can press it, then you put a ladder here. So, and then you can also, oh, come on, huh? Can't you climb up the trapdoors? Or is it just closing too fast? But basically, that's pretty much what I was thinking. I actually think it's realistic too, isn't it? In an actual sewer, there ain't a huge inviting staircase you can get in. And I wouldn't even do it all too systematically. I'd probably just randomly distribute a lot of these different setups everywhere. Just kinda randomly. But we also gotta come up with a solution for here. Because it's not working like this, but we still have wooden buttons. Aren't wooden buttons somehow designed to stay pressed longer? Wasn't that a thing? Okay, now with a wooden button? No. Wait, now it worked. But is it really true a wooden button opens a trapdoor longer than a stone button? That doesn't even make sense. Yeah. I'm pressing the wooden button sooner, but the stone one still closes earlier. Doesn't even make sense. Why does wood stay down longer? I mean, stone is heavier, but we can definitely do it like that. We're done. Now we've spread them out a bit, and down here it should be a bit... Wow, it's not even that noticeable. I thought this place would be full of ladders. Back there's another ladder. Here's a ladder, another ladder. Well, it's definitely not a problem, but then you can get out of here. Boom. So that would be that for the manhole covers, at least. What we're gonna do now, we have our beautiful lake here, which the others made at the beginning, and we're also gonna make that a little nicer someday. But the manhole covers won't be the only entrances to our sewers. I also want to make like a tube here from which you can also dive into the sewers. So first we're going to take some stone and then roughly form a tube out of it. Something like this maybe? But if we made it out of copper, then here will be the second one. So we'll just have to ignore for a moment that the pipes look a bit strange and that's all just like a pile of rock and everything's kind of crooked and slanted. It's just built on a slope. But when we'll finally make them out of copper, it'll be better. So now we have all these pipes everywhere made of stone. And yes, some pipes don't look like pipes, but once we build them out of copper, it'll definitely resemble it a little better. So then let's go ahead and farm some regular copper blocks real quick. We don't really need that many of them. Wow, 2 shulkers became 6 stacks. Now I'm gonna just go around and replace every stone block I set earlier with a copper block. All the pipes are finished, and now the plan is to let the whole thing oxidize just a little bit. Right now it's all still copper, and then once it's oxidized a bit, it's basically textured. Then we can simply wax everything, and then we'll have some wonderful pipes here. That means we've now finished all the entrances and exits to our sewer system, and then I'd say we can move on to the next thing on our list. And that would be the lighting down here. Because when I turn off full bright, I got a mod that makes it extremely bright in here. The whole thing actually looks like this, and then I thought we could use something fitting to go with these copper outlets we built with the pipes here. Those copper bulb blocks, so those copper lamps. And when they oxidize, they also get a little bit darker. That means we're gonna have a really subtle light down here, and I do think that could actually look pretty cool. And to craft those now, we're gonna need copper blocks, redstone, and a blazed rod. So we still have a little bit of copper left. and the redstone, and now we just need some blaze rods. And for the blaze rods, we can go ahead and go to our blaze farm real quick. Alright, now the question is, do we still have blaze rods? We got 6 blaze rods here. Okay, that's definitely not enough. So 2 stacks of blaze rods, and with those we'll craft as many as we can. Yeah, see, almost 9 stacks should definitely be enough, I think. That means we're gonna fly back now, and then we can go ahead and start placing the lamps. And for that, I've pre-built this relatively minimalistic lamp design, and the lamps now need to be placed evenly spaced along the walls throughout the main corridor. And in case you're wondering where all the other players are right now, they already started farming the materials for the 6 secret rooms we're gonna be building later. Ooh, yeah, that's exactly how I imagined it. With still some dark spots in here. I mean, it's also supposed to be dark in the sewers, that's why we didn't place any here either. And the cool thing is they'll oxidize over time. I think this one already oxidized to an extent, and they'll get darker and darker until they almost don't glow at all, and it's just gonna be a super subtle lighting. Maybe we can also interrupt the oxidation at some point, then I'll just go along here and some lamps will be a little brighter and some a little dimmer, but I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Despite all the lights on the walls, our sewer system is still pretty empty and monotonous at the moment, so it's about time to add a few more details, because I want the entire sewers to adapt the styles of the 8 city districts above, so that you'll always know where you are. And then we'll start with the normal part of town, and right beneath it, we're gonna make sure that the sewer system is fitting exactly to our city district. So right here for the regular part, I thought we could maybe also add a couple of skeleton heads, and to match the birch trees we also have everywhere up above, we could, like, maybe put some birch trunks in the water, like as if they were washed away a bit. We could also put like some moss and stuff on the birch trunks and make it look like it's been sitting there in the water for a while, just rotten. And yeah, that's it. I always thought of 1, 2, or maybe 3 things to do for each part, so let's go ahead and make it happen. And so here comes the big issue. We once again need skeleton heads. And maybe some of you remember how we farmed the skeleton heads for the city, out of the ancient cities, and how it took quite a while to get them all. That means we have to go out again and look for some ancient cities. Unless we still have some skeleton skulls. There's not any skulls in here, let's be honest. There won't be a single skull in this box. Damn, there really are some here. Well, that's not what I expected. 4 skeleton skulls, and we'll take that one too. So you can get skeleton heads occasionally in ancient cities. You could also get them from a charged creeper, but I'm not really in the mood to wait for a thunderstorm right now. I'm definitely prepared though, and have my channeling trident, just in case there is a thunderstorm, but I'm not really gonna count on it right now. So let's go to the ancient cities and farm some skulls. Oh my god, I don't really feel like doing that at all. Last time I spent 3 hours just searching for an ancient city and didn't find anything. Should we take a look down here? I think there might be something underneath that biome sometimes. Okay. Oh my god. Did I find one? Please. Oh my god, there is one here, right? I can feel it in every pore. There's gonna be one here. Please, come on, bro. Another giant deep dark. Yes! Okay. We found one. That's really record-breaking. I honestly thought I'd be spending hours looking for an ancient city, but we found one in just a few minutes. So I am a professional now after we farmed over 150 skeleton skulls for the city, and now I know exactly where they are. We always have to look at these places where these double chests are, so like around here. There we got one head, so we should be able to get like 4 skulls out of one city on average. Here's another one. There we got the next. Here. Oh yeah, here we got another one. Okay, I think that was it. There is another spot. It's a small, thin column that's pretty much just randomly standing around here, but I don't think we have one of those here. Nope. Oh my god. What? Mid-air. Bro, like his aim was that good. Oh, here. I hope I haven't been here before, because it kind of looks familiar. And I'm out of rockets. Wow. Perfect. Just at the right moment with this gigantic mountain in front of me. So there's gotta be an ancient city underneath here. Maybe I'll just go down here. Yes, there it is. All right, let's go. Let's get these skulls. Unfortunately, that was it for the ancient city, but we got 4 skulls. Now I do want to take a look around here a bit left and right, and maybe we'll find another one that's somehow connected to this one. I think that's it though. But we also can't get too greedy, because then we'll just end up looking... Oh, what's here? No, there's really another one here. Things are getting interesting. 2 of them in one spot. And I'm not looking for a third ancient city. I think although, I don't think so. Another one would be, that'd be crazy. 3 cities? No. It's the same one, right? Wait, no, this is a new one? I think this is actually a new one. But it doesn't have a single skeleton skull spot. Oh wait, oh my god. It is a new one. 3 cities. I don't think I've ever had that before. Yeah, it's definitely a new one. There's not a single chest spot here. How many do we have? 17 skeleton skulls already. I eventually flew back because I then found out that one of the others still had a stack of skeleton skulls, which means my little trip was more or less for nothing. But after farming a bit more birchwood, I was able to start decorating with the skeleton heads and birch logs right away, and then move on to the second area. The first area is finished. It's not super much, but just a little bit, a few details. This is the normal area here after all. Doesn't have to be too heavily detailed, it's just a regular sewage. We can go ahead and move on to the next style, and here we are just underneath the water district. And here I was thinking about maybe we could put some seaweed down in the water, and we could also use some waterlogged slabs to create like puddles on the paths, as if it's like actually a little wet down here. I'd even say we'll do the seaweed in the water first. Let's go get some bone meal real quick. Now, to just add a little bit of seaweed to the ground. And so now I was thinking maybe we could use slabs to create some like indentations in the paths and then just fill them up with water. No, I just noticed we can't create a water source in slabs for whatever reason. Gonna have to get the water from down there. God, what a drag. Building day styles took a few more days because it's incredibly difficult to keep track of everything without a schematic and to distribute all the details evenly across all the pieces. But I gotta say it was 100% worth it because these details really add a lot of improvement compared to before. We are done with the details. Let's go ahead and take a little tour. The first thing that's been added right here is this more weathered, rundown part where you can see these like mud bricks on the walls and everything's like a little bit more ruined, which is also fitting to the poor part of town which we have here up at the houses. Then of course we have our magic district with some amethysts on the walls, a bit of skulk, and a couple of mushrooms. Then we added the snow area where we just added a bit of ice to the walls and a bit of snow, and in the water, just like in the normal area, we got these logs with mushrooms and moss. And then we have our jungle area, and here we added a little bit of mud to the sides of the water. And honestly, I'm not really sure what it's supposed to resemble, but I think it's pretty cool. Then we got some rocks, a bit of moss on the walls, and a couple of leaves. So then we finally reached the nether part, and here you should notice something right away. We removed some of the sewer water here, and we actually worked with some particles for the first time as well. We got these campfires underneath which create the particles, and they also pass through the blocks, which is really cool, so you can create that dried out, vaporized kind of look with it. And I gotta say, nether is probably my favorite out of all of them. And then we also have the desert part. And here we made it easy for us. We just placed a bit of sand on the left and right and a bit of sandstorm on the walls. And now there's actually not really that much left for us to do. There's basically only 2 things we need to do before we're pretty much done here. And the first thing, of course, is the ceiling, and we also have to do the special rooms. And while I have been decorating the sewers the whole time, all the other players have also been pretty busy. They went ahead and finished up farming all of the materials that we're gonna need for our special rooms. See, all the materials have already been prepared for the 6 rooms, and that is what we're gonna do next. It's only been just about 24 hours, and our special rooms are finished. All of the 6 rooms have been built, and we can now go ahead and take a look at the finished work. And the first special room I'm going to show you is this one. To be fair, you can't really call it a room, but this here is actually supposed to resemble huts from homeless villagers. The ideas are pretty creative, but there's also a reason why we built this, but I'm gonna have to show you everything else first. Just got a couple of dirt piles and dirt on the ground, and a couple of general details that make it look like somebody actually lives here and just set up their little camp or something. It's nothing particularly big, it's actually one of the smaller rooms, but I think it's pretty well built and actually fits pretty well in the sewer. I mean, you gotta say, with all these details here now and the special rooms and stuff, it's gotten considerably more crowded in here. But then we can move on to the next room, and that is located here. And probably some of you already recognize it. This is our McDonald's. Don't ask me why we have a McDonald's in our sewers, but I thought the idea was actually kind of cool. And as you can see, it really does look like a McDonald's. We got these order kiosks here, these displays where you can see your number, and this is where you can pick up your food. I think it's pretty cool because we added a lot of details to all these special rooms, and we've pre-built all the rooms and put a lot of time and effort into every detail. And we also have an ice cream machine, but who would have thought? Let's move on to the next room, and that one is right here, because this room right here is a secret room which isn't openly revealed. And here in the corner there's a little button. If we press it, you can see this wall slides down, and then we can see shulkers. Get these out of here. So now here we have a secret room where a bomb is being built. Yeah, I think I got a little explaining to do. You can even go inside here. You can see some of the technology inside. Nothing earth-shattering, really. So this room is more or less just like a fun room. It doesn't really have any purpose. And you can see the bomb actually has kind of a face. It crossed between an elder guardian and a villager. Yeah, I'll never forget that image. And in case any of you are wondering why we have a bomb in our sewers, it kind of has something to do with the story of the whole thing. So y'all remember the city we built above with all the houses? And here in the entire city, there isn't a single house with a villager. All of the houses we've built here are just for ourselves. No villagers can come in here, which actually has a bit to do with the server performance. Anyway, the story behind it is that one day we banished the villagers from the city above down here into the sewers, and now all these villagers are conspiring against us and want revenge on us. So now they're building this huge bomb to blow up the city. Yeah, that's the story. But just wait, the story continues. Another special we have down here in our sewers is this right here. And this is, as you might not notice at first glance, a prison with an open door. But we have this menacing guard. We actually didn't even want to make a real prison, just like a small dungeon with a few cells. But now it's turned into a whole prison. We even got a small cafeteria here where you can sit at these extremely comfortable tables. And this prison ain't even that badly equipped. We even have our own private basketball court. And then of course, all of the cells. Then we got the chambers for the employees, I think. I didn't build the prison, so I don't even really know for sure what's in here. And here we got something else. I think this is the interrogation room, I think. We also have a hospital room, and the patients here are definitely given a lot of encouragement with the skeleton skulls hanging from the ceiling. And I think that was pretty much it for the prison. And the next room that isn't really a room is this here. This is, as you can easily see, the graveyard in our sewers. And again, don't ask me why we have a cemetery in our sewers. I thought it was a good opportunity to build something like this. And we got a lot of graves here that have signs with names on them, and all of those are actually names of people who used to play on our SMP server. Then we got a little shed here. I don't even know what this is all about, but through here you can actually go down into a basement, and I don't really know what all of this is either, but it looks pretty cool. It's kind of like a dungeon or something. So I guess if someone was to get resurrected from the graveyard, they could get thrown down here. But yeah, that was our graveyard. And now we come to our last special room, and also the largest. Now this right here is our black market. And you can already see how this is significantly bigger than anything else. We got an entire market here with lots of little stalls and booths and tons of things going on. Here we got some containers with ancient debris coming out. We have some diamond ore. We also got little exhibition stands, an archery booth. And here's the large market center with like a statue and a little boxing ring. We also got a little auction here. Back there at the other side, there's a large cannon that shot a huge crater into the ground. Everything's just super chaotic in here. There's no system, got stalls everywhere, and materials lying on the floor. We also got some graffiti on the walls back here where some SMP players wrote their names down, and I actually think that fits really well. Like, graffiti fits perfectly in here. so many little details that I can't even really show off right now. And the bigger picture of this whole thing is also part of the story, namely that the villagers down here are conducting illegal trades, but the whole thing also has a benefit for us. The entire black market here is going to be completely stocked with villagers all over the stalls, and then it's really going to become kind of a trading hall for us, where we can always just go down to the sewers anytime and we can trade mainly weapons, tools, armors, and enchantments in all of these stalls. But we're going to deal with all the villagers later. We're also going to have to trade all the villagers up and so on. What we're going to deal with next has really nothing to do with all the special rooms. They're finished now, and now we can finally take care of the final steps, because then the sewers are going to be finished and we can finally check that project off the list. And the last thing missing, of course, is the ceiling, for which we gathered lots of stone again, and now we're going to cover up all the corridors so that you can't just fly over them anymore. Then we'll texture everything with a bit of andesite, and once we're done with that, we'll take another look at the final result with the shaders. And with that, the sewer system is also completed. Everything's done. The ceiling's just made of an andesite stone mix, and now we can go ahead and take another look at everything with the shaders. It is pretty dark down here, but then again, it is a sewer, so it doesn't really matter. So here we got the desert section, and up ahead you can already see, now that's sick. Yeah, the nether part definitely goes crazy with the shaders on. It gives like a completely different vibe. You wouldn't even expect the city to be above you. It's kind of like a completely separate thing now that the ceiling's here. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool because the sewers add so much depth to the city that you can just go down everywhere and go into all these little corridors and stuff. So then we got our jungle section with the black market. Dude. Oh, whoa, we got some glow squids. I really like that the glow squid spawn here. It kind of adds a little bit more life down here. Alright, so here we got the snow biome. There's not really that much to see here without a light source. It's just, well, dark with shaders. But after that comes the magic area. Yeah, it's also cool. It looks even better with the shaders now that the amethysts are actually glowing. In case you're wondering what shader I'm using, it's the photon shader. Here's a pore area. There's nothing really here, it's just dark. And then over here we got the water area with all the puddles on the floor. Oh, and here's the McDonald's. And I forgot to show y'all the bathroom at the beginning. That means we can also put a check behind this project and finally start with our next one, the nether base.